It's a very good evening, morning, afternoon. This is the Red Report, Barnsley FC's longest running podcast. And here it is, 30-odd episodes. No doppelgangers this evening as we preview the big South Yorkshire showdown at Wembley Stadium on Monday, the EFL League One playoff final between Sheffield Wednesday and Barnsley. Right, powered by Barnsley Sport and part of the TalkSport network of fans. We have the OG in the house this evening with the subtitle of K Sera. Reds Report, Ian. How are you feeling?
Very well. Very well. Looking forward to the show and Monday. Bring it on.
And live from his bedroom, not just for OnlyFans, it's Steve. Steve, how are you?
Sponsored by Newman.com as well these days, mate, apparently. My good friend Ian is anyway. 20 minutes you were on job on Monday.
I know.
Actually, you were on job all day, weren't you, on and off, Ian?
Yeah. Only kept less than 3 minutes and they kept cutting me off. Couldn't get a coach.
I know that feeling. Not doing it twice for nobody, are we, Carlo?
Boys, I tell you what, as a change of how we normally do things, let's look at what happened on last week.
We get to the last episode of the season and we suddenly know how to use the technical abilities.
Well, I'm trying the hardest.
Look at this.
It has been a really high-quality campaign at this level. Excellent sides, Plymouth and Ipswich setting an extraordinary standard. But it is immediately here.
Square it!
Possibility for Barnsley. And it's closing in. Ricardo Santos at some cost making an absolutely vital intervention.
Shut up. Be saying Martin is next. Yeah. No, he did have a good game though, mate. Look at that, beautiful.
Asking to be buried back, wasn't it?
Well, that Mads Anderson at back post.
What a noise at Oakwell!
So many bodies forward. The ball's brilliant. It really is. Great technique.
Bolton fan was asking me where he's seen the working men's club was before the match, and he says, "I hope Luca Connell don't come back to haunt us." Oh dear.
Phillips, can he work the opening?
Oh, good effort, that lad.
Yeah, I did well.
Great play, that Philip.
Well, the margin's so fine.
The Reds Report player of the season goes to number 30.
Hey, I tell you what, we ought to do this every episode. It saves us having to talk bollocks all the time, doesn't it?
This episode is not suitable for kids.
Oh, no, I forgot about that.
2 minutes 50 in, we've done it. Well done. I can't even remember them even like... Well, I remember that one.
And Eistead handled the back pass.
It don't matter. These things happen. You have to give him a chance. Sniff as if they're still in it.
He just plays that ball in. Harry Eistead, he's got nothing more. He thinks it's actually just going to.
I bet this flies way off.
Yeah, it's going well over.
Oh,
and it's teed up for Morley.
Look at that. Shocking.
There is
Too close.
considerable
Too
relief.
close.
Okay. Phoenix Knights, Reebok,
Goalkeeper and
your
central
boys took
defender.
one hell of a beating.
Oh, come on, seal it. Yeah.
Oh, go on.
Seal it.
Square it!
Well, he might finish
What are
with
you
a cross
doing?
here. He has so many options. Joy unconfined in Oakwell. They are one game away from a championship return.
So, boys,
Very good. Very good.
That's what happened on Friday night. And then fast forward to almost a week later, here we are, looking forward to, is it the first sort of South Yorkshire derby or whatever, in 30 years at Wembley? I mean, it's pretty rare, I suppose. First of all, Steve, a few days in advance, we're still working, still got things to do at home. We're not really thinking about it yet. So the emotions are not fully there. How are you feeling now? Having looked what we've done with Bolton over both legs, we know it's going to be Sheffield Wednesday. Whilst we're sober, how are we feeling about it?
He looks relaxed.
There you go.
I want to know what's happening lower down, to be fair, because the way.
No, you know what? We've said it all along. Yeah, I'm sure as we get to Monday, we'll be excited. We'll be excited on coach going down and all that sort of stuff. Obviously, there's that little niggle in the back of my mind that says, we might lose and we might lose. And I keep telling myself, but if we do, it's still been a fantastic season. And I'll take that forward all the way through. Coming back on coach, if we do lose, I probably won't talk to anybody. Well, I'll not talk to anybody because I'm sat on my own. Because I'm odd one out, aren't I? So I'll not be talking to anybody anyway.
Are you normally asleep, in fairness, anyway?
I will be asleep, mate, as you well know. But no, you know what? It has been a fantastic season. It's going to be an exciting summer. Transfer-wise, seeing who comes, seeing who goes. But yeah, obviously I want to win on Monday. Of course I want to win on Monday. I don't want them to, be the entitled supporters that they seem to be coming out of the woodwork with now, that they deserve to have 48,000 tickets with 90,000 in reserve and all this sort of rubbish. You know what? It's just a joke at times, I'm afraid. And I think they concentrate too much on what we're doing rather than what they're doing themselves.
And Ian, somebody at school at work today said to me, they're concentrating so much on their massive following and the attendance FC and blah, 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 because deep down, they probably wanted to avoid, of all the teams, they probably wanted to avoid playing Barnsley at Wembley in a one-off game. Not just because of previous results, but I think they've learned that when it comes to the crunch, you look at Oakwell earlier on in the season, you look at the first match that they had against Peterborough, they've not got a good track record of standing up and being counted. How are you feeling about it? And do you think that there might be some truth in there? Because, two completely different sides, an aging side versus an up-and-coming side, a team that's very rigid, a club that's very rigid, spending a lot to try and get success, let's put it that way. Barnsley is very much young product, so everything is completely different. How are you feeling about it?
I'm feeling quite relaxed, to be fair. A bit like Steve. We said a couple of weeks ago, these playoffs shouldn't define our season, should they? Yes, we want to win. Let's not be daft about this. We do want to win, but I just feel it's been a really good. What a turnaround this time. All you have to do is gauge it from this time last season, don't you? That's the yardstick, and on and off the pitch. But certainly on the pitch, I feel if it's not to be, and we're in League One next season, I think we'll hit the ground running in August. I think we'll be right up there, probably pushing for automatic. And it's not an arrogance. I think if obviously Duff stays, we keep the majority of that squad together. A couple of additions. We've had two good transfer windows this year for Duff, January and the summer. I think maybe if we sell Styles, get a fee for him, that could free up the money for Bobby Thomas or something like that, and keep this nucleus of this team together. I'm looking forward to next season already. And I think the pressure's all on them. They've got the bigger budget. They've got more to lose. Who knows what that squad will look like of theirs if they don't go up. Whereas I think we're in a much better place for next season if it wasn't meant to be. So I'm quite relaxed. I'm looking forward to it. And I think we'll give it a right go. I really do.
Question to both of you, really. So yesterday we did the Sheffield Wednesday / Barnsley combined 11 on BBC Radio Sheffield. And that made me think, where do we think this match, the key battles are on the pitch? I was very open and honest because my starting 11 was basically Barnsley with Bannon and somebody else on the bench for them. But that's not apparently how it went.
You really sounded as though you knew what you were talking about, though, yesterday, Carlo. I've got to say, I listened to it, and it were like listening to a Dutch Gary Neville, is what it was like listening to. It was amazing.
Don't tell it, it was all AI. So we came up with Eisted. Eisted was in goal. Kitchen and Anderson were at the back. Cadden was left wing back. Connell played. I don't know if Kane got in there because I even tried to barter and say, can we put him in?
No, he didn't want Kane, did he? He put two of his guys. I think your main battle is going to be Connell Bannon. I really do. I think if Connell can get about Bannon early doors, give him a couple of little clips or whatever, and shake him up, I think Bannon will lose it because he's that sort of player. If you wind him up, he'll go like a top. So I think that'd be a really good battle on Monday.
What about down the wings, Ian? Is that maybe, down Williams' side? We know, we were talking about it, and I think it could have been both on you early on in the season when Williams came back from injury. You said, he could now change formation almost, and he did. We haven't talked about Williams a lot. Sometimes going forward, these days, I mean, the lad, and you completely get it. Last few minutes against Bolton, made the wrong decision, but is that something that you think Wednesday will try and exploit? Down the side with Cadden, Bolton did in the early stages, and down the other side with Williams. But
potentially they might even. My fear is, I like that Lee Gregory. I'll say I like him. I think he's just one of them centre forwards who does not sit still. And he was a. Did he get both the goals in the Oatwell game, or he was heavily involved in them? No, Hurst got one, didn't he? But he was heavily involved, Lee Gregory, and I think
Bindas got one as well.
Yeah, and he was involved in absolutely everything. And I saw that second leg against Peterborough, and I just think he's a live wire. So I think like their forward line is the strong bit. In terms of Williams, his form, we all said, didn't we? Thought it dipped off the last few games, but in the 2 playoff games, they all stepped up, and I thought they all got like 8 and 9s out of 10. So I think they've got a really good, strong forward line. So that's where I feel. But like Steve was saying about Barry Bannon there, and I think back to the game at Hillsborough. And I remember then we outthought them and we outfought them. I remember that game. And we absolutely tactically nailed it on the head, and they just never got going Wednesday. And I know it's going to be hard to reproduce that. But Duff's done it twice before. He's not daft. He knows where their strengths are, and I think he'll set us up right. It's just how it comes on the day. So you can worry about some of these players, but Duff's going to have a plan up his sleeve.
I think referee might have quite a bearing on it as well, depending on how physical a game it is. Because let's face it, sometimes team games between us can be quite a physical battle, and it's one of them. If referee's sensible and lets play sort of move on and such, it might be all right. But if he's one of these card happy refs, you could quite easily see it being both teams down to 9 men.
Well, let's discuss that anyway, because VAR is being used as well, which is new to the players. I mean, I said earlier to Ian, Steve, I feel a lot of times Devante Cole has been pulled, he's been tripped, he's been all sorts, and it's gone unnoticed, so that's good. But we have to be fair as well and say that, Bobby Thomas, but definitely Liam Kitchen and Mads Anderson can be quite aggressive in their defending as well. Is that something else you think the players will have to get used to? That, it's even if the referee doesn't say anything, a word in his ear, he can go to that monitor. And, we've not talked about penalties yet, but it's something else the players will have to get used to, isn't it?
VAR is one of them things, love it or hate it, but it's here. It's not going to suddenly go away on Monday just because we all say, well, we're not right bothered about VAR. It's going to be there. So it'll work. It works in your favour. Sometimes you look at Brighton and Man City last night. Haaland scored a stunning goal. He got in front of defender, but when they went back, he pulled him out of way. So VAR there was good for Brighton, not so good for Man City, but it was the fair result for that. And I think that's the thing with VAR. As long as it's fair, it does the job it's supposed to do.
Let's face it, we've had some shocking referees this season.
Yeah.
So surely, although the ones in the playoff game was good, playoff games were good so far, but it might actually benefit us because we've been on the wrong end of some refereeing decisions and linesman decisions, haven't we? So it might actually benefit us for once.
I hope we don't get a penalty though.
Well, this ref,
be frightened to death who's going to take that.
Well, this ref has actually managed us on Wednesday a game before now, so he knows what to expect.
And I think it's fair to say that besides the forwards, we all agree or probably concur on who should play or who should start at least. What forward line are you going with? So in both playoff matches, it was Tadic and Cole that started up front. Lots and lots of work off the ball. I just felt that they found each other maybe a little bit better than maybe Cole and Norwood. To me, Norwood is somebody that at Wembley, whether you're 1-0 whether you're 1-0 down or you're 1-1, you bring him on, don't you, to run ragged and to keep their defenders on the toes and really sort of, go the whole 9 yards with them. Who would you start with up front? do you stick with the Tedic and Cole combination? Do you say Norwood needs to start because he's been there before? He's got the experience. He's probably one of the rare ones in our team besides Russell, who's been to Wembley. So how do we look at that, Steve? You had your hand up. Yes,
I'd
sir.
start with Cole and Watters. There you go. That's just throwing a spanner in them works.
You've
I
been
just
listening
think
to
I agree. I completely agree with you about Norwood. He can come on, I think, even second half and do a job. But I think that first off, Wednesday's defence have not been brilliant, especially over the last couple of months. And I just think rather than trying to play like a long ball to Tedic's head, I'd rather see it on floor because I think Watters and Cole, a little bit more pace. You'd like to think Watters has got a little bit more about him because he's played in Championship, etc. Although we've not seen a great deal. I just wonder whether this could be his type of game.
I thought Norwood was first class when he come off the bench against Bolton. He was exactly what we needed. I thought he was superb. He chased. He really reinforced that press more than. And Tedic and Cole had done well, but I thought he were brilliant. And I'd love to see that for 90 minutes, but given his legs, his age, you're not going to see it. So I think I agree. I'm not sure about Watters because I've not seen enough of him. And Tedic, I'm still yet to be completely blown away by him, but he did what he needed to do in those two games. I mean, in terms of shooting in front of goal, being prolific. But Norwood was brilliant when he come off the bench in that second leg. And I think if we're in a decent position in that second half, you bring him on, he really reinforces that press from the front. So
he's like that second push, isn't he? He's like that.
Yeah, he was great.
I suppose as a defender, when you've been up against Cole and Tedic or Cole and Watters, and that relentless press and the forcing and the back and the sideways balls and blah blah blah, and then you get to 65 minutes and you see one of them go off, you think, and then they bring Norwood on, which is like a Mark II, isn't it? It all starts again. What about big pitch? How does that? Because when we talked about forwards, one of the reasons I thought Tedic, because will they maybe have a little bit more space? Is it maybe will one side clearly benefit from having playing on such a big surface, or is there actually just no advantage for either side? How are we looking at that?
I don't know. You can look at it different ways, can't you? Really, they've got the experience, but the older legs. We've got the younger legs. I think for us, the main thing is just managing that we don't go running off like headless chickens in the first 20 minutes and run out of steam. I think we've got to be just pace the game. But I really wouldn't. I don't know whether I wouldn't say there's anything glaring with the bigger pitch.
No.
Yes, it's going to be a sunny day, pretty warm. That'll be probably a bigger impact that'll affect the legs. Being the fact that it could be quite sapping out there for them playing because it's going to be a nice sunny day. But I wouldn't, not really thoughts on whether the pitch will make a big difference to either side.
I don't want to talk about the following and the attendance, but we are going to. Out on social media this evening from the club that Sheffield Wednesday have been given another sort of allocation of tickets that seem to have come off Barnsley's. Let's be honest, it's a city. And even if you divide in half, that's still a bigger catchment area than what Barnsley's got to play with. Does it really matter? Shouldn't we be looking at, well, that's just more tears, more people leaving the stadium early because we're going to watch that lap of honour and the laughing and the joking and the dancing and everything else. Because all on social media is about attendances and how big they are and everything. Well, shouldn't they be? For being in the fifth largest city in the UK or the sixth is Sheffield? So shouldn't they be? The message surely has to be, from our point of view, we sing from the first minute to the last minute, even when Adam Phillips has the ball. Evening, Mr. Andrews. You know what I mean? We just have to make our own noise, don't we? We can't be dictated over on it. The atmosphere is going to be or should be incredible.
Last time I checked, you didn't win football matches or score goals because you had 10,000 more fans there, did you?
I thought they started
true.
1-0 for having the extra fans in. And because of being such a massive club, I thought we only played 80 minutes and they started on 1-0. Because according to social media, that's what they deserve.
That letter's not gone into FA yet. They're just in
okay.
process of posting it.
Right, okay.
It don't matter, does it? Do you know what I mean? There's been a lot of stuff this week about attendance. A lot of it has been light-hearted, good, good-natured.
Yeah.
I do, some guys at work, Wednesday fans, really nice guys, blah blah blah, and all that sort of thing. It's always your minority that spoil it for everybody else. It'll be exactly the same on Monday. I'm sure it will. Will there be any trouble? There'll probably be pockets of trouble. There always is. But again, it's back to just the minority, and hopefully that policing and everything's robust enough and what have you to keep it all in check. 99% of supporters from both teams will go down there, have a couple of beers or whatever, buy a scarf for 140 quid, however much scarves are outside the ground, and and have a really, really good day. Unfortunately, like you say, it'll be 6,000 extra supporters that go home crying. It's just one of them things.
It's like I think about what Duff said today in the Cron, and he just says basically he wants the supporters to do what the players are going to do: turn up, enjoy it, and give the best version of yourself.
Yeah,
and
that's it.
1,000, 25,000, 3 million. What does it matter?
Don't matter. Don't matter.
And I think I read something on social media earlier that 90% of all the other League One fans that are watching are all back in Barnsley, aren't they? Because it's just not a club, the other one. Right, something that I haven't told you we're going to do, but this is the first time with us as a presenting trio that we've made it to the playoffs, isn't it? And it means different things for different people, doesn't it? I mean, I've had the students at school, and it's day out with dad, and we're going to on the club coach, and we're doing this and we're doing that, and there's some older people say, oh, I can remember going. So Steve, starting with you, supporting Barnsley FC, how did that start, and what does it mean to you? Monday.
I said they've dropped this one, haven't you?
Yeah.
How did it start?
You're next, by the way, Ian. Yeah.
It started on a wet Tuesday night on corner at Ponty End, where disabled stand is now, and it was open then because I was absolutely piss wet through. And I think it were I've got a feeling it were Cambridge, but that was donkey's years since. And ever since then, more times than not, I've had a season ticket. Some seasons I've not, due to financial reasons and stuff like that. But it's always there. It's always there in the back of your head. It's always, the result that you look for. It's always the thing you look forward to at a weekend. I mean, I go with my lad. And I mean, all right, he's 25 now, and if he could go on his own, I'm sure he would. But it is chance for us to just have that couple of hours on a Saturday afternoon or an evening, just to be dad and son again to a certain extent, and that's what it means to me. I'll go until I drop. There's no two ways about that. And that's just the way it is.
Ian, I mean, being from that side of the Pennines, your story be a bit different, I reckon.
Yeah, so my backstory's a little bit different, but my lads were born at Barnsley General Hospital, and although we've lived over here, I've always said to them that you whatever you do, whoever you support, you can support, but always look out for your local, your team. And I've always done that since they were yay big. And we took them down to Oatwell, and we got them kits, and we always looked out for the scores when they were really young. And then when they got to kind of an age where they could go to games, I started taking them, and we started off doing a few local games in the Northwest, and they got the bug from there. And like Steve says, it's been one of them where it's like my lad's buzzing, he's never been to Wembley. I took my eldest in 2008, and it's a great time for us too. You know, it's Dad and Lad Day. He's buzzing, and it's about making memories, isn't it?
Yeah.
I was just going to say, and I'll be totally honest. Listen, I love Barnsley Football Club, and I love going. I'm looking for, and I know it sounds, but just a journey down. There's 9 of us. We've lost Steve's lad because his girlfriend's coming, but that's his loss. But just for us to share those memories.
I've forgotten about that. Yeah, she is. Yeah, you're right. Oh well, never mind.
She won't pick you up on Friday, would she not? But she's coming Wembley.
No, she bloody won't pick us up. My lad had to have a pee in that doorway, which ran all the way down the street. It were really clever watching it. I thought we were going to move that bottle, but it never did.
I thought he was being like neighbourhood watch and just checking down the ginnel, making sure everything was
he
all right.
He was certainly checking down Summit, I'll tell you. But yeah, no, she won't come and pick us up. Miserable cow. I told her when we got in, but then they ordered a pizza, so it were all right.
Yeah. But it is, isn't it? Like, we do this, and virtually the 3 of us are sort of together, and obviously Steve lives a couple of miles from here, so that's all. But to be able to have, because we always have a laugh, to be able to have a laugh on the bus going down, to be able, the 3 of us, to sit together, and we might not be doing much analysing, depending on how much alcohol has been consumed, of course, but it is memories. Steve's bringing his lad, plus the girlfriend. You're bringing yours. My lad's coming as well, and a similar age to Steve. I mean, he's 26 now, bless him. He's only going because I've paid, but that don't matter. I feel like he wants to be with me that day. It's about making memories, isn't it? And I said it, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think for a lot of people, the only good thing about this town is the football club. Okay, we've got a cinema with 7 screens and moving seats, and that took years to build. And it looks a lot better now with the glass works. It does look a lot better. We've still got that temporary bridge that's shut every time Barnsley play. That's been temporarily shut for about 9 years now. But on the pitch, for the last 10 years or so, apart from last season, you go there, don't you, to support the lads. You're there with like-minded people, and it don't matter if you weren't so much or so little, or you're not. You're all Barnsley fans, and it don't matter where you're from, who do you talk, where do you live, or anything. For those 90 minutes, you support the common cause, which is the lads in red. And I think to share that day with people like yourselves, your family, your lad's girlfriend. Will he be explaining the offside rule and stuff? Sorry, I'm just wondering. I'm
just hoping he's watching game, that's all.
Yeah, I've told my lad he can't do it looking for Pokemon, because that's what he tends to do when I take him anywhere.
How old is he? 20 what?
Oh, whoa. Mr. Andrews, have you still got the game on your phone?
No, but I'll tell you what I will mention, talking about bringing people together. First time I'd been in fan zone actually on Friday night, as we all met up, obviously.
Oh, your fan base. Your fans came over.
And Andy Clark, big shout out, big Andy, beautiful. Apparently, I'm a funny one, which really pissed Carlo off, unbelievably so. He didn't talk to me for the rest.
See, I can mute him, you see. He doesn't know this, but I can mute him.
Cheating. No, it just goes to show. It just goes to show that it does bring people together. It brings communities together. Barnsley's had some really hard times in the past, but football clubs always kept people going.
Yeah,
and that's what it's about.
There is that renewed feeling that the club does not belong, but we feel closer to the club again compared to this time last year, don't we?
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
You only have to look at the atmosphere on Friday night. It was something else, wasn't it? It really was. And it's probably started from the Derby game when there was the scarf day, and the club have asked the fans, and the fans have stood up and answered the call to arms. And that was just something else on Friday night. It really was a cracking atmosphere. And like you say, if that's a perfect example of everybody coming together. Probably some people might not have been for a couple of years. You don't know. There was loads of kids coming with their mums and dads, and they must have been coming away thinking, "This is great. I want to come here next season."
Yeah, and I think the good thing was, and I've seen it on social media, people saying, we're lucky to get 8,000 on a Tuesday night. It don't matter where the other 20,000 come from. The fact is, they have paid out of their purse, wallet, bank account, X amount to go on a coach, to go on a train, to get into Wembley, to maybe buy a scarf and an expensive watered down pint. It doesn't matter whether they've been before or not. When it matters, they're there, and I think that's what's needed.
Haven't we got a different end as well this time to when we went previously?
Yeah, we're on the
because they're on about. Is there a big drink area or something at our side now? Because I can remember going at Green Man, which were quite a way away from stadium.
There's fan zones in there. There's a fan zones for each club behind the goals, I think.
Is that what it is? Is there something?
Yeah.
Is that the thing?
I think so. Yeah.
We'll figure it out, won't we?
Yeah.
We must remember where the bus is parked, though, lads. You know, like
I've got some little stickers that put on your arm, Carlo, so we don't lose you.
Right, we can just scan as we go past, just to make sure. Yeah, Steve's here. Yeah,
and a lead.
Get him on some reins.
Yeah, get him on some reins. Come back. Where's he going?
Finally, then, I mean, I'm going to have a South Yorkshire derby is big enough. A South Yorkshire derby at Wembley to see who gets promoted to the second tier makes it even bigger. Who will be promoted and how? And with that, I mean, will it be in 90 minutes? Will it be in extra time? Will there be penalties? But who will be promoted and what will be the method? Steve. I'll go now then. Barnsley in extra time.
Yeah. Oh, 2-1, do you think?
Barnsley in extra time. I'm going, I reckon Barnsley will score first. Wednesday will equalise. And in the second period of extra time, we will notch a winner, and it doesn't go to penalties. But I reckon Barnsley will win in extra time. That's my forecast.
Do you know what?
Ian, you put 2-1 up.
Go on, then, Ian. Go on.
Yours. Is that a normal time?
I think it'll be a tight scoreline. I think 2-1, and we'll do it in 90 minutes.
Oh,
I'll
even
come back
better.
to haunt me.
It wouldn't surprise me if it were 0-0. And it were 0-0 after extra time, because we've had one penalty this season, and it goes to penalties.
Yeah.
And either way, whether it's 90 minutes, extra time, or penalties, Barnsley's going to win. Of course they are. They've got to do.
Lads, for the penultimate time this season, because I'd like us to get together next week and look back at that fantastic win at Wembley. And who would have thought 3-0? We never thought it was going to be that easy, did we? Thank you.
Oh, kiss of death. Nah, that was unbelievable, that one, weren't it? Oh.
It is the number 3, isn't it? It's the third time we play him. It's the third time James Norwood's going. It's the third time I can remember going to this Wembley and win. It's written in the stars.
Oh, it's honestly. That 3 minutes that you were on about, Ian, as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, not doing it twice for nobody.
And who's got a number 3 on his back? Evening, Mr. Phillips. Tell you, 3 goals. Adam Phillips hat-trick.
Yeah, but
you heard it.
It's a third. Oh, all right, then go on. I'll give you that one.
I want to know what he's drinking in that can.
Can I have 4 more, please, Barman? Yeah, you've been listening to the Reds Report with Reds Report Ian, Steve, and Carlo. We're going down to Wembley. We hope you are as well. Not on our coach, because it gets really, really, really busy. If you see us, come and say hello. And remember, Steve, he's not really the fun one, is it? We'll see you at Wembley, Reds. You Reds.